you, Lily. Thank you for the nice introduction. So, everyone, let me just give you a format here because it's a debate. I don't want to jump into things where everyone's just talking in circles. So here's the system that we're going to use. I'm going to ask a question to either Team Bitcoin or Team Crypto. We know we got Marty here who's going to represent the Bitcoiners. We got Justin who's going to represent Crypto. And then they'll each have a chance to rebuttal, right? So I'll ask a question to start to the Bitcoin fella here. He'll get a chance to have a rebuttal. Then I'll ask him a question, and Marty will have a chance to rebuttal. So that way, everyone's kind of fighting out of their own corner. They don't get to dance around. Remember that Mike Tyson fight a couple weeks ago? It's very boring because they never hit each other. We're going to make sure these guys hit each other, all right? So we're going to have some fun. So let me just start with the first question. And I think this comes from the block size wars and something we learned about intimately. And you tell me if this is something you agree with and something you think shows a distinction. And it was that when the block size wars were going on, we saw the consumer tech applications of Bitcoin, the Coinbases. Everyone who had real consumer-facing applications say, we got to go for speed, we got to get the next generation, we got to move quickly. But the ones who wanted to keep the block size small said, wait a minute, this is not consumer technology. Consumer technology is something totally different. That's an iPhone. Do you think that this attribute that Bitcoin has, that it's optimized for credibility over the consumer-facing qualities, is actually its main selling point? It's the main feature that makes Bitcoin distinguish itself from crypto. It's not like a Nintendo. We're not waiting for the next generation of iPhone. We've got something that's the oldest and therefore the most credible. Is that really the distinction for you, the consumer tech versus the engineering credibility question?
I don't know if it's consumer tech versus the way I would view it is Bitcoin is money. Money is the most important tool that we use as humans, and Bitcoin only has value as money because of the properties that it has. It's decentralized, it's scarce, it's got a lot of energy focused on the network, and it is only successful if it is sufficiently distributed among full nodes, hash rate geographically, all of that. And to get to that natural state of sufficient distribution, you need to make trade-offs at the protocol level. I think Gwern wrote about this perfectly in 2011. In May of 2011, Gwern wrote an article called Bitcoin is Worse is Better. And in that piece, he basically explained Bitcoin makes these trade-offs that may seem a bit odd to the individual. We have 10-minute block times. There's only so much space in each block. We use proof of work, which takes a lot of energy. And to the layman who's looking at that says that's very inefficient, but it's important to recognize that it is that way to ensure that everything can be sufficiently distributed so that Bitcoin's core properties are not corrupted and individuals, businesses, governments are able to leverage the benefits of this apolitical monetary network.
Mm-hmm. I'll let you open that if you need to. Go right ahead. So what do you say to that distinction that money requires these core principles, and do you believe in the trade-offs that they can sustain those core principles?
Yes, definitely. I think for my Bitcoin view, I think I'm a small block, points of view. Because one of the narrative Bitcoin has been always work on is the storage of value, right? So we want to make sure, everybody holding Bitcoin feel comfortable. The protocol won't be changed, and it will be safe forever, right? And it needs to be decentralized, make sure it's not like bound to like any political power, government, order or anything. So that's why this is very important, I think, to keep the Bitcoin always as it is, right? But if you want any like innovation, want consumer technology, want fast like changing technology, you can go to Altcoin, other blockchains, right? Which I can give like example, right? Solana like can be shut down for like a day, people gonna be fine, it's okay. But if Bitcoin, stop like producing blocks for like a day or something, right? I think most of the people in the world will be like super panicking, like what happened, what's gonna happen to my money, right? So that's why for Bitcoin, I think the best way is just stay as it is. Have better technology is good, but I don't think it's worth to risky to change especially on the structure perspective. That's my view.
So the agreement here is that you see the limited experimentation on Bitcoin as something that's a good quality of Bitcoin, but that we need experimentation elsewhere because we can't do it on Bitcoin.
Yes, I think this is kind of like trade-off, right? So if you want everything new, that's also I think similar to kind of like a consumer iPhone versus Android, right? It's like iPhone move quite slow, right? But the iPhone, like everybody know, is it's reliable, right? It's safe. Use iPhone, but if you are technical savvy people, you can use Android. You can do your own apps, everything. But your system will be exposure to lots of security attack, like anything, right? It's kind of like that, but it's more extreme, right? I think Bitcoin is something you will feel very stable, very safe. If you have Bitcoin put in your own wallet, it's gonna be forever, right? Like 100 years, it's gonna be still there, right? But of course, right, if you buying any other crypto in the space, even 100 days probably not exist anymore, right? So that's why that's the choice for the customer. So that's why for me, I think Bitcoin is something always be there. And if I have any demands for invest or have something innovative, I will choose somebody else, right? Yeah.
Very interesting answer. So this question's now to you. So I think we talked a little bit about the simplicity. We're going to move on now to, let's say, narrative, right? So Bitcoin has this dead simple narrative, like you said, that's been consistent for years, right? Bitcoiners like Marty and myself have been talking about Bitcoin with the same language, the same description since 10 years at least, right? Now, crypto seems to have to reinvent itself. I call it a sugar cookie. You know what sugar cookies are? They change for every season. It's Valentine's Day. I'm a heart. It's Easter. I'm a bunny. It's Christmas. I'm a Christmas tree. Love me. I'm changing. I'm new. I'm different this year, but I'm the same. It's a sugar cookie. So what is it like to see this fragmentation of the marketplace and having to create new narratives each and every cycle? Is that something that you thrive on? I saw the banana trick. That was a lot of fun. And you're really good at this stuff, but that you kind of have to be if you're in crypto. You kind of have to come up with new talking points, new sales pitches. It's not necessarily a criticism, but it's a reality of crypto.
Yes, exactly. I think Bitcoin is for stable, for storage of value, right? So everybody learned about Bitcoin. I get into the Bitcoin industry 10 years ago, right? At that time, people is already talk about storage of value, this kind of narrative, but everything has been changing so fast, right? In the last 10 years, and demands is always changing, especially for altcoin, right? Recently, right, we have meme coin, we have meme coin issued by AI agent, and also we have AI making decision on which meme coin gonna be the one who we need to trade. And we see, Pump Fund, some Pump, there's live streaming, somebody is doing live streaming on their coins, basically they stay in the bathroom, if you don't buy the coin, I won't leave the bathroom. This kind of the meme coin is out there, right? Yeah. So that's why I think it's, for altcoin, it's changing all the times. But for wBTC, what we do is just bridge Bitcoin everywhere, right? To Ethereum, to Solana, Arbitrum, Tron, everywhere, right? So basically, we want to bridge Bitcoin to the people, right? If they want to use Bitcoin on other blockchain, they will have a reliable choice, right? It's gonna go through wBTC. It has over $13 billion market cap, right? It's the liquidity is very good, right? You can sell $100 million Bitcoin, like in one single transaction on Ethereum, that will be only like 2% discount. So that's why I think we need Bitcoin everywhere, right? So that's why we have this product like wBTC. But of course, I think blockchain will continue to evolve. Considering this is a fascinating place. It will have like innovation like every day. I saw different crypto like narrative like every day, for a new token, pumping, and I was like, why is pumping? And then they will tell me some crazy idea. For example, like recently, the crypto can be used for biotech or something, right? It's also trading on Solana, like very famous. So I get updated on like what's the token for, and after 7 days when I check the token a week ago is already go to zero.
Yeah.
So you need to be like very careful on that too.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is the whole experimentation and narrative changing and cycling is secondary to the basic case of spreading Bitcoin, and that stuff is sort of layered on top. Correct? So how do you respond to that? Is that a sound argument to you? Do you think that you can bridge Bitcoin onto other chains and constantly cycle these narratives? What do you have to say about that as a context?
I don't think it's sustainable in the long run, and I do think it's important for everybody to realize like Bitcoin isn't really on these chains. It's in a multi-sig on the Bitcoin chain, then you mint representations of the Bitcoin and the multi-sig on these other chains. And so Bitcoin doesn't really exist on these chains. It exists in a Bitcoin multi-sig, and then you create representations, and the representations of Bitcoin that exist in those chains are beholden to the problems that exist with that change of centralization and the corruptibility. And I think crypto and the narratives changing is a product of the fact that nothing that has been brought to market for the first 16 years in the world of crypto has really found product market fit outside of maybe stable coins. And I think that's particularly because of the use of people needing to preserve value without stomaching the price volatility of Bitcoin. And so crypto changing narratives, I mean, it went from Bitcoin's too slow, it's too dumb, it doesn't have enough transactions, we're going to create a better one. Then it evolved to ICOs, you can launch your own token. Then it went to DeFi, now we have meme coins, and you're seeing this acceleration of these new narratives, and they're falling flat even quicker. I think the meme coin narrative, what we're seeing on platforms like Pump.Fun is an example of this stuff, just speed running as the new narrative arises over time. And I think particularly as we head into this new era of nation states adopting Bitcoin, I think the opportunity cost of playing in crypto and trying to chase new narratives is simply getting too high. I think nation states are recognizing that Bitcoin as a global reserve asset being integral is a monumental change in terms of how Bitcoin is viewed in the eyes of not only governments, but everybody around the world. And if you're in crypto trying to create a new narrative and trying to say that Bitcoin is not good enough, I think we're at the point where it's objectively false. Like Bitcoin is going to be the global reserve asset of the future. It is designed to be that, and nothing that has come in its wake out of the world of crypto has really proven to be able to supplant Bitcoin.
So I do want to go to that worldview question a little later in this debate, but I want to come back to what you said about nothing has been invented that would be of significance. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but something along those lines is what I heard. Now, what I will say for me personally is, there was a magic feeling the first time you used Bitcoin, and you went, whoa. I had a very similar feeling the first time I used Uniswap, because we hadn't really imagined, we'd understood P2P, but we didn't imagine that you could do person to contract. Just like you said, this Bitcoin is spread through different chains and these multi-chain wallets. When I saw the liquidity pools and the bonded curves working, I went, I don't know if we would have just invented this without the frenzy and wild west of blockchain or crypto or whatever they call it today. We wouldn't have had that. So where do we put the experimentation to get to the point where we can, or where do we put experimentation in general, right? The thing that they came up with Uniswap, to me, I'm not putting it on the level of Bitcoin as an innovation, but it was just a tactile way of moving cryptocurrencies that we hadn't really thought of, and we kind of discovered it in the same way that Bitcoin was discovered, if you will. So where do we put experimentation in Bitcoin, if not in crypto?
Well, it depends on what your ultimate goal is, right? Like if your ultimate goal is to create a bunch of tokens or competing monies with Bitcoin, and you want to go experiment with that on other chains, do it. I just think the whole, whether it's Uniswap or DEXs, like trading these cryptocurrencies and be able to do it in a decentralized way, which is, I think, a stretch of the definition of decentralization. I just think it's completely misguided. Like Bitcoin, again, is money. Once you have a free open market competition for money, the market is going to converge overwhelmingly on the best money, and that is Bitcoin. And I think that is one of the biggest mistakes that many in crypto have made throughout the first 16 years, is really misconstruing what's going on as a technological revolution. And to a certain extent it is. Satoshi combining proof of work with distributed consensus, difficulty adjustment, that is a technological innovation, but at the end of the day was to enable this monetary revolution, bringing this new monetary good to the world. And so I think a lot of crypto takes it as a tech innovation and runs with that, but more profoundly, it's a monetary revolution. When it comes to applications that the crypto world is trying to force on the market, I think Web 3.0 is a great meme where you're trying to create a token for each use case. If you have a podcast, you're going to have a podcast token. If you're going to do streaming, you can create a token of yourself and try to get people on Pump.fun to buy it. But really, what I think Web 3.0, the correct vision of that is just you take other distributed technologies, you don't attach a blockchain or a token to them, you just combine them with Bitcoin. And we're already beginning to see this manifest. RSS is an open source content distribution system. Instead of spinning up a token in a blockchain to do podcast or music monetization via cryptocurrency, you simply just distribute via RSS and put a Bitcoin Lightning Network address in your RSS feed, and people can send you Bitcoin directly. You don't need a new token or blockchain to do that. Similarly with Nostr. Nostr, you have this emergent communications distributed protocol that is really good at nailing that use case. How do you create distributed content distribution? And Bitcoin is proven to just fit in nicely to that as a way to monetize that distributed content distribution. So I think Bitcoin is money. All other cryptocurrencies are money. They're inferior monies that are competing with Bitcoin. And all the use cases they're trying to push on the market are better solved by just injecting Bitcoin into more purpose-fit technologies.
So to summarize again, just for the sake of debate, you're saying it's unnecessary experimentation and a lot of theater when the answer might be simpler if you just apply basic principles to
solution looking for a problem.
Yeah, so solution to looking for a problem. What's your rebuttal to solution looking for a problem?
Yes. So first of all, I think Bitcoin is a great technology, and because I have been in the Bitcoin industry for very early days. So when Satoshi first invented Bitcoin, and people start to want to create lots of new stuff on the Bitcoin at the beginning. Even like Vitalik, when he first tried to create Ethereum, he's thinking about creating smart contract on Bitcoin blockchains. But of course, right, Bitcoin won't let him to do that because Bitcoin is designed for storage of value, something like that. And then Vitalik goes to create, Ethereum for smart contract compatible. And later, I don't know if anyone remember at that time, it's a very interesting idea. There's a coin called color coin. Basically color coin is aiming for building smart contract on Bitcoin at that time. And they have this kind of the Omni layer, and Tether even issued the first Tether on Omni layer, which on Bitcoin. And then that's when I talked to Tether, I told Tether team it's impossible to scale Tether if we continue to do it on Omni layer, because it's very slow. When people sending like $2, they won't expect it to have like an hour confirmation. And there's not going to anywhere. So that's why later Tether collaborate with us. We had Tether on Tron. Has an instant transaction, right? Everybody wants to use that. As we settle around $30 million, like $13 billion, like every day. Now it grow, of course, like Tether grow from like almost zero to $100 billion now. So which I think benefits Bitcoin a lot as well, because the stablecoin on Tron, on Ethereum, create a very easy way to trade Bitcoin in the first place. Because before that, there's an exchange, right, called Poloniex. It's the first, OG, crypto exchange at that time. People trading altcoin use Bitcoin, actually, right? People using Bitcoin to buy other altcoin. So those times, when altcoin, when Bitcoin go down 10%, all the altcoin will automatically go down 10% because, the price is defined by the Bitcoin, right? So, but at that time, the problem is if you use Bitcoin to trading other crypto, it's really slow, right? So, so that's why I think later people start to use stablecoin to trading crypto. Actually benefits Bitcoin because more fiat flood into the Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin become actually the storage of value because the fiat will go to buy Bitcoin, give more buying power for the Bitcoin in the first place. Because at that time, when stablecoin first introduced into the crypto markets, people was like, no, we want Bitcoin, we need to use Bitcoin to trade crypto. If stablecoin take value from Bitcoin to be a trading tools, it will diminish the monetary value of Bitcoin. But later, right, today, Bitcoin goes to 100K US dollars. We know actually, more stablecoin, more smart contract platform actually empower Bitcoin, price even more, right? Recently I saw, Donald Trump, also use stablecoin to buy Bitcoin on Ethereum, platform from decentralized trading platform. So that's why I think it is actually, basically the crypto and the blockchain technology development empower Bitcoin in other way. If we doing everything stuck with Bitcoin protocol 10 years ago, we wouldn't even pump the Bitcoin price, right? As we have like above 100K today.
Now, you described, so this is a new question, I'm heading back to you first and you'll get a rebuttal, but I'll build it off of what you mentioned about the worldview piece and the ETF and the nation state adoption and what you've been saying so far, which is that, look, in the end, this is all Bitcoin anyway. It helps Bitcoin and crypto helps Bitcoin. But I want you to answer this specific question. Bitcoin to me is a worldview, right? You can actually understand planet Earth through an understanding of Bitcoin. You get financial literacy. You understand what money and the state have to do. You can actually understand history by understanding Bitcoin. Now, crypto does not offer that to anybody. Would you say that it is more like just anything like baseball cards or Pokemon? Because that's how I see it. When I don't hate crypto, but I'm as impressed by crypto as I am by a really interesting set of baseball cards or another game that someone made. Whereas Bitcoin programs my worldview. I get to see things that I wouldn't have seen before if I didn't have that. So is that something you believe or something you would agree with?
Yes. First of all, I think crypto today is extremely big markets, right? All different cryptocurrency have their own meaning, right? For example, like Tron, Ethereum has value. It's very easy to understand because people use the platform all day long. It has few hundred million people, using it like all the time, right? Which creates lots of value because there's a gas fee spend, like everything, lots of lots of usage, basically, right? And we also have other coins, is like meme coins, right? So when I first come to the meme coin, it's very hard for me to understand too, right? Why the coin is pumping because of the picture is cute, right? It's actually very hard to process, but we are getting there, right? So from Dogecoin, right, and later sheep, and the Peep coin, and there's new meme coins comes out like every day, right? So that's why I think crypto is more like it's like a museum, and you go to museum, even banana tape on the wall, worth $6 million, you just need to figure it out, you can learn, like why is that, right? And you just like keep going on the tours, keep learning like more and more things like has big value, and you don't know why. But Bitcoin, I think is like the first lessons, right? Everybody learn when they get into the crypto, but crypto itself is just like a museum, and I think it's gonna keep like evolving, and you need to just keep learning.
So is Marty, your rebuttal, is Bitcoin a first lesson and then that brings you to crypto? Or is crypto the first lesson and that brings you to Bitcoin?
I mean, Bitcoin's probably the first and last lesson. You get into Bitcoin, you're like, this is interesting. Is there anything better? You go experiment with crypto, you get rugged, you get wrecked, you realize that you should stay humble and stack sats, and you come back to Bitcoin. And I mean, I think crypto as a museum is a great example. It's like it's cute and all. Museums are fun. However, like the ultimate goal of Bitcoin and the mission that many in the industry are on, and what we're trying to achieve, is much bigger, much larger, much more virtuous, I'd argue, than building museums for people to play. And this is deadly serious to me. The sovereign debt crisis, the inflation crisis, the quality of life crisis, the gap between the rich and the poor that exists, not only in the U.S. but globally, is a massive problem. If we don't solve that problem rather quickly within a generation, it's going to lead to a lot of strife and dismay for my children's generation. And so when it comes to building museums or focusing on a protocol that has a problem to solve these systemic issues that exist globally, I'm going to focus on the latter because I think it's more important.
But what about the argument, and I think a lot of people say this, and I think Justin would agree, we're running out of time, but I'll try to paraphrase what I think you'd say. Crypto seems to be like the greatest gateway drug to Bitcoin. Like you said, you visit the museum, but then it's the first and last lesson.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I've seen this, multiple examples of people listen to my podcasts, listen to newsletter or read the newsletter. Investors in 1031 come to us, have told me I was into crypto, I was experimenting with Ethereum and Solana, got wrecked and did some research, really came to understand that Bitcoin is where the signal at, and that's why I'm here now. So,
well, that was the last word to Marty. We're out of time. Justin, thanks a lot for joining us here at a Bitcoin show. We like the experimentations. It's a lot of fun. And thank you, Marty, for being a Bitcoiner and defending your point of view.
Thank you, Nolan.
Thank you,
Justin.
Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Is your company ready for the next evolution in financial strategy? Bitcoin for Corporations is your partner in securing the future of your business. With exclusive membership benefits, our comprehensive masterclass, and a network of trusted service providers, we provide the insights and resources to help you incorporate Bitcoin into your financial strategy, ensuring stability and long-term value. Strengthen your business. Innovate with confidence. Bitcoin for corporations, protecting your treasury and positioning you for the future.